Today I will be talking about Giant Mine in Yellowknife. It is a mine with 15 chambers in it, full of 237,000 tons of arsenic trioxide. But first, what is arsenic trioxide? Arsenic trioxide is a fine powder that has no taste or smell and can easily dissolve in water. An aspirin-sized dose, if eaten, will kill you. And it is used in the purification of gold. And under Giant Mine, there is 237,000 tons. That is enough to kill everyone on the world a couple times over. So, what did the company do to make all of this dust? And what did they do with it before they were putting it into the pits? So, the Giant Mine company was using it to purify gold. And for the first 5 years, they just released it into the atmosphere. They straight up just didn't care. They're releasing like 6,700 kilograms of it into the atmosphere every day. And this was like super harmful. 3 indigenous boys ate some snow with the dust on it, and they passed away just by eating some melted snow. So that just shows how dangerous the dust is and how reckless it was of the company to just release it into the atmosphere. Also, the government found out about their deaths and made the link between arsenic and kids dying, but they didn't do anything, so that's kind of cool. In the 50s, after their deaths, but not specifically related to them, they added a filter which stopped most of the dust from escaping, but still 300 kilograms every day was still getting out into the atmosphere. And this left the question, since they're trapping 300 kilograms, not tons. Yes, Grace?
Did you say in the 50s?
Yeah, the 50s.
I thought this was now.
No. We're still in the 50s. So now that they're trapping the majority of the dust, it left the question of, what are they actually going to do with it? So they decided to put it in the old mining chambers. These chambers were enormous. They're the size of 12-story apartment buildings. And they decided to just put the dust there, and since the chambers were frozen in permafrost, it would kind of work. The engineers were yeah, no, don't do this, it's really dumb. But the company was hey, it's cheap, it's free, so they did it anyway. And then they're wait, we want to mine the land above those chambers. So they mined it and then exposed that permafrost to the air, so it melted. So basically now all of those chambers are exposed to the elements. But they didn't really care about this, so over the next years, they stored those 237,000 tons of dust in those chambers. So that's how the arsenic got there. So now let's talk about what the government has done over the past 60 years. So little. The government found out about those indigenous boys and their deaths and did nothing. In 1966, they made a report about how dangerous the dust was, but they're nah, we can't release that. It's going to cause too much alarm in the community. And then in the 70s, the people were what's happening here? We kind of want to know. So they did a more formal report that was bigger and realized that pretty much everyone in the community had higher levels of arsenic than they should have had. But no action was taken from here. And then after the mine went bankrupt, yeah?
How high are levels of arsenic supposed to be?
0.
Okay.
It's not good when you got that in your blood. And then finally, when the mine went bankrupt, they didn't ask the companies to pay damages or to get money from the shareholders. So they basically got to keep the profits from everything and didn't have to pay a cent for the damages, which is due, but kind of expected. So what does the mine site look like now in the present? So arsenic trioxide is still in the environment. They can't drink from the Great Bear Lake, which is the 10th biggest lake in the world, which is now polluted with arsenic, so no one can drink from it. And something that I found out, which is kind of terrifying, on windy days, they can see clouds of arsenic trioxide going across the river. The lake. And that's terrifying because the stuff will kill you and give you hella cancer. And the government is planning to do, they can't actually get the dust out, or they can't do it in a way that's not going to expose like the community to even more dust. So their plan now is to freeze those chambers with like a refrigeration system. It like doesn't require energy or anything, but they want to freeze those chambers so no water can get in and no dust can get out. This is projected to cost $1 billion, and it will cost $2 million every year to maintain. And this is being paid by you, our fellow taxpayer, and all of us through GST, not income taxes though, because we're not old enough. Yeah, and so far only one chamber has been frozen. It was kind of done as like a test, but it seems to be working good. So over the next 2 years, they're going to plan to freeze 5 more, but after that, there'll still be like 9 left. So yeah, that's going to happen in the future. Miscellaneous points. The shareholders and executives got to keep all their money, and oh yeah, under Harper's administration, the environmental impact report for this mine took 6 years to deliver. 6 years, like you can get like a master's degree or something in that amount of time. So that's fun. Also, the mine held place to like a massive strike and like a mass murder of like 9 people, which was like kind of really intense. Yeah, there's like a strike and like the mining company hired like replacement workers, and then one of the strikees was like, I don't want this. So they placed a bomb in an elevator and like they killed like the replacement workers. It was like really bad. So it was like I think it was like the biggest mass murder in Yukon. Yeah.
When they decided to start mining again, what were they mining?
Gold.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's my presentation on the giant mine in the US.
Woo! Good job, Mark.